Snow being compared to art and to a marble quarry once again? Yeah, well, welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, and number two being the Reading in a Winter Wonderland playlist here on the channel, a playlist of videos in December of 2024 dedicated to the cold, to snow, to ice, to all things that are winter related. And because of that, I have to issue an apology, which will make no sense to anyone finding this video in the future. This was the day I was supposed to drop the very first Black Label book review here on the channel over a Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I just ran out of time. I can't do it. I apologize. Those videos are something that I am holding precious on this channel, so look out for that playlist when it finally becomes active, when I finally start uploading videos to it, because those are videos that I am into which I am putting a whole lot of work. And today's video is a video that comes to us from where are we at here? I apologize. I am lost in everything here. The Snowstorm, I don't know what is going on outside of my apartment. The Snowstorm by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and the poem reads as such. Announced by all the trumpets of the sky arrives the snow, and driving over the fields seems nowhere to alight. The whited air hides hills and woods, the river and the heaven, and veils the farmhouse at the garden's end. The sled and traveler stopped, the courier's feet delayed, all friends shut out. The housemates sit around the radiant fireplace, enclosed in a tumultuous privacy of storm. Come see the north wind's masonry, out of an unseen quarry evermore furnished with tile, with the fierce artificer curves his white bastions with projected roof round every windward stake or tree or door. Speeding, the myriad-handed, his wild work so fanciful, so savage, naught cares he for number or proportion. Mockingly, on coop or kennel he hangs Parian wreaths. A swan-like form invests the hidden thorn, fills up the farmer's lane from wall to wall. Maugre the farmer's sighs, and at the gate a tapering turret overtops the work. And when his hours are numbered and the world is all his own, retiring as he were not, leaves when the sun appears, astonished art to mimic in slow structures, stone by stone, built in an age, the mad wind's night work, the frolic architecture of the snow. One of the things that is an obvious talking point with this poem is the theme of transcendentalism. Transcendentalism, we get this from Wikipedia, is a philosophical, spiritual, and literary movement that developed in the late 1820s and 1830s in the New England region of the United States. A core belief in the inherent goodness of people and nature. And while society and its institutions have corrupted the purity of the individual, people are at their best when truly self-reliant. I will just editorialize for a moment. The winter, perhaps especially a New England winter, is something which is going to absolutely tease out the self-reliance of the individual. Transcendentalists saw divine experience inherent in the everyday. Transcendentalists saw physical and spiritual phenomena as part of the dynamic process rather than discrete entities. Transcendentalism is one of the first philosophical currents that emerged in the United States. It is therefore a key early point in the history of American philosophy, emphasizing subjective intuition over objective empiricism, emphasizing subjective intuition over objective empiricism. I think that this is probably the key point worth taking from this. Its adherents believe that individuals are capable of generating completely original insights with little attention and difference to the past, to past transcendentalists, pardon me. Its rise was a protest against the general state of intellectualism and spirituality at the time. This is maybe the second hallmark worth taking from this excerpt. The doctrine of the Unitarian Church, as taught at Harvard Divinity School, was closely related. This is the rugged individuality and the Protestant work ethic at play in the American ethos. Transcendentalism emerged from English and German Romanticism, the Bible criticism of Johann Gottfried Herder and Friedrich Schleiermacher, the skepticism of David Hume, and the transcendental philosophy of Immanuel Kant and German idealism. Perry Miller and Arthur Versluis regard Emanuel Swedenborg and Jacob Boehme as pervasive influences on transcendentalism. When we look at this poem, one thing that I think happens a lot in transcendentalism is not just the beauty of nature and the goodness of people and nature, the individualism, but also one thing that stands out to me, and perhaps I'm wrong, but it seems often in transcendentalist work, the nature and the acts of nature themselves are granted individualism, are granted a type of creativity, a type of individualistic control over what it is that they are doing. Come see the north wind's masonry. The north wind itself is an artificer. The north wind itself is giving us a beautiful and perhaps dangerous, but useful scene with which the human inside the sort of the paradigm of nature can act, can strive, can profit, not just survive, but profit. So fanciful, so savage, naught cares he for number or proportion. This is nature working with a type of largesse that we, from other schools of thought, from other philosophies, we don't necessarily see. I think that if you take more of a Nietzschean sort of perspective, the nature part does not have the largesse. It has the forcing factors of evolution. It has the strongest will survive. Whereas in transcendentalism, if you were able in a New England setting, not just to work and farm the land, but to get ahead, you, pardon me, you're going to have a certain work ethic to do so. The transcendentalists, I think, in this ethos of the primacy, perhaps, of the individual, are also staking claim to the fact that the primacy of the individual does not triumph over nature, but works hand in hand with nature in order to get ahead, in order to maybe not dominate nature. I think that would be the wrong framing for this type of philosophy. But I think that it is, if you work hand in hand with the great force of nature, the great individual hand of nature, you are able to get something from the land that is beautiful. You look at those crops. It's easy, I think, in today's world to overlook a staple crop, things like that. It was not during this time period. And this poem is one that I think really solidifies that idea and the sort of ethos of transcendentalism. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do on this channel, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.